Well, they are separated by the M6. 30 minutes between Villa Park and Molineux. It is a Midlands derby. Wolves against Aston Villa as it kicks off this weekend of Premier League action. And it's a big, big weekend in what is already shaping up to be one of the most competitive Premier League seasons in recent years. You talk about how long it obviously takes for Villa to travel to Wolves. In terms of league positions, they're separated by 2 points. They're separated by 2 places and 2 points. Wolves sit in 10th on 17 points, whilst Aston Villa sit in 12th on 15 points. So, of course, both sides will be looking to get a win today. And both, of course, back to winning ways. Wolves 6 days ago were given a drubbing at the hands of Liverpool, the champions, at Anfield, whilst Aston Villa, who didn't play last weekend due to their opponents Newcastle having a few players go down with COVID, they had a weekend off as they saw all the Premier League action in front of them as they had a weekend off. They haven't played now for around about 12 days. And that last game, of course, was against West Ham United. Let's just run through the two sides quickly. Wolves make 2 changes to the team that was beaten by Liverpool on Sunday night. It's Rui Patricio in goal. Roman Saiz comes in at the back in place of Willy Bolly as he partners Connor Cody. And then, of course, it's Nelson Semedo and Martial as the fullbacks. It looks like they've gone with 2 in midfield, Leander Dendoncker and João Moutinho. And then they look like they've gone with 3 attackers. Adama Traore, remember, was a former Aston Villa player. He played for them for over 1 season before he departed to go to Middlesbrough 4 years ago. He actually played 18 games for Aston Villa when he was bought from Barcelona. Daniel Pedence and Pedro Neto are the others in attack. And there's a first Premier League start for Wolves record signing Fabio Silva. He has been featured sporadically in the Premier League so far by Nuno Espirito Santo. And of course, he has already scored twice this season, albeit in the EFL Trophy for Wolves under-23s against Doncaster, respectively. The substitutes, John Ruddy, Ryan Ainori, Willy Bolly, Ruben Neves, Owen Otasawi, Vitinha, and Max Kilman are the subs for Wolves this afternoon. Aston Villa, like Wolves, make 2 changes to their team following their defeat to West Ham 12 days ago. Emi Martinez is in goal. 9 of the starting 11 currently have featured in every single game. The back 4 of Cash, Concert, Mings, and Target are 4 of the 9 that have featured in every single game. Douglas Luiz and John McGinn also are part of that 9. They are in midfield alongside Jacob Ramsey. What a day for him. He makes his first Premier League start. He has been at Aston Villa since he was 6 years old and has impressed Dean Smith in training this week as he plays in place of Conor Hourihane, who drops to the bench. And then, of course, Jack Grealish, as we know, what a talent he is. He is in a 3 up front alongside Ollie Watkins and Bertrand Traore, who comes in place of Trezeguet, who is out with an injury. Of course, he suffered in training in the week. Incidentally, about Grealish and Watkins, they have scored 11 of Aston Villa's 20 goals in the league this season. So it just shows how important them two are to Dean Smith's side. The subs for Villa include Jed Steer, Frederick Gilbert on the bench, Ahmed El Mohammadi. There's a former Wolves player on the Aston Villa sub bench in Courtney Hawes, Conor Hourihane, Marvelous Nakamba, and Anwar El Ghazi make up the subs. Outcome both the sides for what is an expected chilly day here in Wolverhampton. And of course, this is a game that really does stick out on the page for both these sides. But of course, with the Midlands being in Tier 3, that wait for fans to come in has to go on. Well, Nuno Espirito Santo has always been a man who's favoured a 3-5-2 system. In recent weeks, he has changed the system to go and play almost a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 in this instance. For Wolves, of course, they did it against Arsenal, where it was successful. They won by 2-1 last week. They played Liverpool in that way. And they, of course, got beaten. Aston Villa, as we know, are very much under Dean Smith, a 4-3-3 team, and have been very much since he took over at the club. And incidentally, it's a celebration for him. It is his 500th game in management, which has taken him from Walsall to Brentford and to his boyhood team, Aston Villa. Well, you look at the lineups here, it does look like Wolves have actually deployed a 4-4-2 with Traore and Neto as the wingers. Neto, of course, is Wolves' joint top scorer alongside Raul Jimenez, of course, as we know, is still recovering from that fractured skull he received as he got in against Arsenal 13 days ago. And Aston Villa, as I said, lining up in that 4-3-3, which has been a very settled Aston Villa team. 9 of the 11 players have featured in every single game. So Dean Smith doesn't really change his team around. And he'll be hoping that his team, which has been very settled, can get a good result today at Molineux, something that his team could not do last year when they were beaten by 2-1. There in your picture is the new banner at Molineux in the place of Raul Jimenez. He, of course, has got a large fan base. It was a real coming together by the supporters. Just shows the generosity of some supporters. It was a crowdfunder set up by fan Kieran Newey of £20,000, courtesy of donations from various supporters. And it's the first ever PVC-free banner ever made by any football club. So what a good bit of history that is. And, of course, a really nice gesture as Raul Jimenez is at home recovering from that fractured skull. And of course, he was back on the training pitch alongside this man, Nuno Espirito Santo, where they were pictured smiling and enjoying a hug as, of course, he recovers from that fractured skull. Well, it's Dean Smith. It is a milestone of 500 games in management, which began nearly 10 years ago as Walsall boss, which, of course, is not far away from Wolverhampton. And as we know, the ritual and the traditional taking of the knee, which is about to take place, of course, even more prevalent due to what has happened in the last week, of course, where Millwall and Colchester fans did boo in, of course, as they took the knee in their respective games. And, of course, the alleged racism incident at the Parc des Princes, where Paris Saint-Germain beat Istanbul Başakşehir. So we're about to get underway. Mike Dean is the man in charge of this Midlands derby as Wolves face Aston Villa. Wolves, of course, as we know, strong at home, 2 wins from their first 5 at home, whilst Aston Villa have been stronger on the road than on their own patch as they won 3 of their first 4. And, of course, if you go back and look at the general stats, 128 times these two sides have played. And, of course, it has been 41 wins for Wolves, where it's been 32 draws and 55 wins for Aston Villa. So it's a fixture that favours Aston Villa more than Wolves. And a little touch back by Neto was a little bit short for Semedo, but they managed to wriggle free. Here is Neto, who was in a good vein of form recently. It's Daniel Podence. He gets the crossing with his right foot. Good delivery for Silva. Well watched by Matty Cash. And then Bertrand Traore comes back to put the ball out for a corner within the opening 60 seconds. Well, Neto showed good feet to jink away from a few Villa players. He played it down the line to Podence. Target showed him the outside. He put the ball in. Matty Cash did well to get up the Aston Villa right back. And Traore was taking no chances there. So it's a corner for Aston Villa to defend. João Moutinho is going to take it. Neto has gone short. And it would be really disastrous if Villa were to concede within the first 90 seconds of this game. There's 4 Wolves players in the box, taken short by Moutinho. Neto now to Marchal. He puts it in. Good delivery to the back post. It's a good header there by Ezri Konsa. And he's been fouled with a push in the back on Cody. It was a really good delivery. Well watched by the Aston Villa centre-back. And he's got a free kick for his team inside their own half. Well, Marchal put the ball in. Cody was onside. Looked like he was going to get onto it. Attacking it alongside him was Jacob Ramsey. It was Konsa who just got a little flick away behind him. And as Cody challenged, he went into the back of it. So first touch for the Aston Villa goalkeeper and defender Tyrone Mings. As they have a bit of possession here. Cash to Ezri Konsa. As I said, the goalkeeper Martinez and back four have started every single Premier League game this season, which has been a good start for Aston Villa. Much better than what it was last year. Certainly not having the second season syndrome, which does often plague sides. Sheffield United don't have that luxury at the moment of being where Aston Villa are, and what is looking like a really competitive division where most sides can beat each other on their day. Traore can't get around Douglas Luiz, who wins a free kick. He was pulled back there by Adama Traore. So he will be hoping to get one over on his old side that he spent a year at back in 2015 to 2016. Konsa on the ball to Matty Cash. Looks long for Ramsey, who made the run, but it's well watched by Martial. And then he manages to get away from his former Lyon teammate in Bertrand Traore, who was yet to score as an Aston Villa player since making the move from Lyon, the Champions League semi-finalist, of course, last year. Well watched by Konsa. Silva closing in. Big day for him, the 18-year-old, highly rated. Bought for vast sum of money. His Traore gets away from Podence. Poor ball to Ramsey, making his first start as a Aston Villa player in the Premier League. That's a lovely ball for Neto. Konsa comes across well and deals with it. And in a real tight corner there, but Cash comes short for it. Under pressure from Silva. And then Konsa flicks it up and tries to clear it away. Makes a bit of a mess of it, but then Douglas Luiz steps in and heads it back to Emi Martinez to keep a real cool head there, as Ezri Konsa made a bit of a mess of the clearance. Watkins coming out to the left-hand side of the pitch as well to shrug off the Wolves challenge. Douglas Luiz is fouled again. Moutinho fouls him. And it's a free kick to Aston Villa. It was a heavy touch by Luiz, but he did well to get his body in front of Moutinho and just get the contact that was enough to make him go down. Pretty straightforward decision for Mike Dean to make. Traore on the ball. Villa, in the opening 5 minutes of this game, happy to keep the ball. Target down the line to John McGinn. Very good ball. Then Donker with the touch. And then Donker sends it out for Aston Villa's first corner of the afternoon. Target took a touch, looked up. McGinn made a really good run through the middle of the pitch. He was just waiting for the ball to go beyond Dendoncker, dummy it beyond him. But the Belgian, who scored the winner against these two sides when they met back in June in a 1-0 win at Villa Park, had to put that ball out for a corner. Jack Grealish to take, Villa skipper. Can he pick out a man? It goes in there. It's nodded away by Dendoncker, who got up. Glances it out for an Aston Villa throw in there. Well, it was floated in by Grealish with an in-swinging delivery, and Wolves did have their men back there, and the zone of marking did the trick. It was Ramsey. Coutinho making the angle tighter for him as he tried to get the ball in. Stabbed away. Another Villa throw in. Cash gets it in. Saiss sending the ball out into touch for a throw-in. Well, he's had his first real taste of Premier League football as a starter. 6.5 minutes in, Jacob Ramsey. Big things are expected of him. Of course, his brother is at the Aston Villa Academy. Aaron Ramsey. No, not that Aaron Ramsey. And as we know, Aston Villa have produced some fine young players down the years. Well, Nuno Espirito Santo has faced Aston Villa 5 times as a manager. He's won 3 and lost 2. The heaviest defeat came when his Wolves side were, of course, in the Championship when they that year romped to the Championship. They were beaten 4-1 by Aston Villa, who were managed then by Steve Bruce in what was the only real time where Wolves were second best in a game in the Championship. Since then, they have gone on to greater things. 2 7th place finishes in the Premier League and an FA Cup semi-final. Not bad going. And a Europa League quarter-final, I forgot to mention as well, where they were, of course, beaten by Sevilla last year, where Aston Villa hope to be. It does feel like this year there could just be all these different teams going into Europe. Good ball by Mings. Beautiful touch by John McGinn. Shrugs off Dendoncker. Puts the ball in. Well watched by Saiz. He's gone out for a corner. But so far, Villa are getting a lot of joy down this left-hand side of the Wolves' defence. Grealish goes over to take the corner again. He goes short to Traore. Grealish gets it back away from Podence. 2 number 10s fighting one against one another. Traore pokes it through to Grealish. Chance to put the ball in. Drives it in low. Traore, heavy touch. Semedo then clears the ball away. But if Traore had got his touch right, his second touch would have probably seen him shoot at goal. But Villa still have it here with Ollie Watkins. Their top scorer was 6 goals. He'll be able to add to that today. Traore now to Ramsey. Ramsey gets it back. And then they go back now with Concert. Here's Cash, ball in, away by Cody. And then Martial gets the touch away. And it's an Aston Villa throw. Well, they look the more settled so far, do Dean Smith's side. You know, Wolves do like to give sides a lot of possession. And then, of course, when the ball is given away, they can use their pace on the break. But Villa at the moment just trying to see if Wolves are going to allow them the space and if there is any gaps potentially that they can exploit. And as you saw there, 64% of the ball has been to Villa so far. Trying looking to find Cash, cut out by Podence. It really does cover a lot of ground for Wolves. Really does get himself about on that football pitch. Semedo to Neto. Looks like he could float between the positions this afternoon. The Wolves number 7 scored in their last home game against Southampton a few weeks ago. Good ball in, and it was intended for Fabio Silva. But Martinez came out, watched it well, and caught it. Well, it was a lovely delivery by Martial. Really put his foot round it. Not easy for Conte to deal with. Did well to leave it. He just didn't want to chance it where he was hoping to potentially clear it, and then it could have gone horribly wrong for him. He obviously got the shout from Martinez, who came out and collected it. Well played by the Aston Villa goalkeeper. And Wolves have got a free kick. John McGinn unhappy about that as his manager. Well, we'll see here. Traore was in with a challenge, and then, yeah, he does get fouled there. And then McGinn giving as good as he got, and then Mike Dean pulled that one back. He certainly does have a case there, the Scottish midfielder, John McGinn. So he's looking for Traore. Well played there by Matt Target. Then Moutinho and Grealish compete. And he's given that as a Wolves throw, isn't he? He's given it as an Aston Villa throw. They both challenged for it. Well, I'm not really sure why that was potentially a foul. Certainly no contact was made on Grealish. Difficult one for Saiz to deal with. McGinn is really chasing him down, hunting him down every step of the way. Did well to keep himself calm and just hook that away. And Wolves do get it out successfully away from the Villa attackers. And then Silva plays it to Neto. Neto's going to drive forward. Chance to put the ball in. He has found Podence, but Martinez off his line quickly to get down low and deal with it. He's taken a whack on the neck for his troubles. It was Podence who went for it, caught it on the back of the head. But that was a real opening for Wolves there. And had Neto's ball just been that little bit better, we would have been probably saying Wolves going 1-0 up. Well, Mings got dispossessed by Neto. Silva played it quickly to Neto. Nice 1-2. Podence put Matty Cash on his backside. He was saying it was a foul. Didn't look like anything in it. And then as Podence went for it, Martinez came out challenging down low, and then Podence just accidentally caught Martinez on the back of his head, well, on the back of his neck, and it's forced a stoppage of play. And, of course, we'll see the Aston Villa physios come on and treat Martinez, which, of course, is going to be so careful with. But that was an example there of what Wolves are very, very capable of doing. Going on the break and really catching Villa out, who, of course, as we know, do like to play with a high line. Mings got dispossessed there rather too easily. It was good play by Fabio Silva, sent Neto away. There was a challenge coming across by a Villa man. I think it might have been Matt Target that put Neto off. And it just meant that the pace on the ball intended for Podence was taken off it, and that Martinez was able to come out and sniff out the danger very, very quickly. And he hesitated, Emi Martinez, and been a few seconds too late. He might have just not even got any of the ball, but instead caught the man. But play will resume with Aston Villa's goalkeeper Martinez, who's fine and doesn't look visibly shaken in any way at all. Lovely ball by Neto. Silva goes down. It was Douglas Luiz who fouls him and gets a yellow card. It looked like a real cynical foul there by Douglas Luiz. Mike Dean very adamant that that's a yellow card offence. Well, it was a beautiful ball through. Spun away from Mings. Certainly does touch Fabio Silva. And, of course, in the referee's eyes, Mike Dean, Silva was probably going to race on to the end of that. I think that's what they call a tactical foul by Douglas Luiz. So he's got to be careful now. Then the first booking has gone to Aston Villa just a quarter of an hour into the game. Silva holding up well against Conte. Gives it to Podence. Away by Mings. Traore gets it under control. Now Douglas Luiz. Now with Ezri Konsa. And now with Mings. Well, Wolves haven't quite yet shown their attacking bite, but Villa have it with Watkins. Here's Traore. In the middle now with Douglas Luiz. He gives it to Ramsey. Cash. Luiz is inside. Now it's Ramsey, and then now with Konsa. Ramsey. It's away from Matinho. And he gives it to Tyrone Mings. Grealish. Target. You can see there, Wolves' furthest man forward is Neto, and everybody is inside their own half. Which does tell you what you need to know, that they do fear Villa as an attacking threat and are just trying to keep a very disciplined and solid feel about them. Here's Grealish, crowded up by Traore. Was there pushing there? And he's given a foul, I believe, on Grealish. Douglas Luiz was saying he was pushed in the back. Yeah, he's given it for the body check by Traore on Grealish. It did happen just a few seconds before Luiz did go down. So Mike Dean made the right decision. The right place to make the decision. The referee, and Villa got a free kick, and Jack Grealish usually steps over a free kick. It does show worrying signs for any defending team. Yet to see a real opportunity on goal for either side. That might be about to change here, potentially. He's already got 5 goals this season. We'll just see this here again. We did just sort of run into Traore. The big thing here is Cody's foul on Luiz more of an offence than Grealish? Maybe there is a case for that. The free kick has been given, and of course there is no need to check the VAR here. Grealish and Traore are both near this. Traore delivers it in. Great delivery. Cody with the header away. In by Ramsey. Appeals for a handball. Villa very adamant that there was a hand of some sort in there from a Wolves player, but Mike Dean not interested. Now Villa have the ball inside their own half. It was a brilliant delivery by Traore. I think it was Connor Cody who got the nick away from his man. And then Ramsey put the ball back in. They were saying it hit an arm, but referee decided against giving it. Good challenge there by Matty Cash on Silva, but it's gone all the way back to Rui Patricio, who's having his first few touches of the game. And now Wolves have it at the back with Saiss and Cody, who, of course, played against Aston Villa when they were in the Championship as Wolves players. And, of course, Paul Lambert and Nuno Espirito Santo. In the 2 years that Wolves were down there, of course, in their Chinese ownership. I feel like a long, long time ago, that. Cody with the ball to Semedo. Traore. Driving at Matt Target. Can he get the cross in? He floats it to the back post, looking for Bedence. He does get up. Cash withstands it. Here's Moutinho. Neto. Then Donker. Lets it run. Cody there. Semedo. Then Donker again. Out to the right now with Traore. This is where Wolves have looked the most threatening so far. Traore gets on the outside of Target. Good sliding challenge by the Aston Villa left back, and Wolves have got a corner. Well, they know all about Adama Traore, how he just loves to get by the byline. But this is the penalty incident here. Cody with the header away. It comes to Ramsey. Gets under control. He puts the ball back in. Well, it does hit Saiss's arm. He does obviously try to head the ball away. I think maybe it's a harsh decision if that was to be given. Certainly not moved his arm toward the ball. Back to the action anyways. Moutinho has got this corner for Wolves. Doesn't beat the first man, and Target heads it away. Moutinho will put the cross in this time. It's a more successful ball in. Silva challenging with Konsa. Konsa's got the final touch. It's another Wolves corner. He's looked bright so far, Fabio Silva, in this game. Certainly not afraid of the physical battle, putting himself about a bit in the opposing half. Taken short by Neto. Moutinho. Traore, he puts it in. Not a bad delivery, well watched by Mings. Traore can't get it under control, and then Target will send that one out for a Wolves throw-in. Yeah, just going back to Adama Traore, we know what he likes to do. He obviously likes to get the ball on the right-hand side and to get away from his man. Well, as you saw there, you see the penalty incident. It's getting played in front of you. You can see that Saiss has almost got his arm in, but then he is a little bit out. So there is a bit of a case. But in my opinion, I think a penalty in this incident would be not the right decision. And the referees with me on that good delivery, well watched by Saiss. It was Cash who put the ball in. It was a really good whipped cross. And if Saiss had missed that, that would have been a chance for Ollie Watkins, who, as we know, has been on fire this season for Aston Villa and has not been fazed by the step up from the Championship. Signed from Dean Smith's old club Brentford, and then is really showed why they paid the money to bring him in. Goals were a real problem for Villa last year. Up front with Mbwana, Samata and Wesley to think about as well, because he's sidelined. Because they had to rely on Keenan Davis, the young lad as well, because he's back up these days. And of course, they don't have a striker on the bench. Well, they'll be happy. You'd imagine they're holding Wolves, who they know are good at home. Aston Villa had never in the Premier League season won their first 3 opening away games. Of course, they had the 3 away games where they'd beaten Arsenal. They, of course, had won away at Leicester and had recorded a big victory at Fulham. So they have had a good start away from home. Foul by Silva against Konsa. So we are starting to see more and more. They're just starting to put their bodies up, the attacking players. Of course, with the defenders jumping. And of course, are going to give it, as they will see that is enough to give a foul. Semedo with the header away. Grealish still has it, though. Backheels it to McGinn. He plays it into Matt Target. He's gone forward, does put the ball in. It's dropped to Ramsey. He gets it toward the goal, but it has gone well wide. It was a Wolves player in there who was doing well to stop Ramsey from getting the shot away there. Well, it was good build-up play. Calls for an offside against McGinn, but he played it to Target. Went off Cody's thigh, on through to Ramsey. Just let it go his body. Again, it's another shot for a handball. That does hit his hand, but that does look, again, more like it's down its side. And then it came to Ramsey. He then just let it run a little bit, and that was enough time for the Wolves defence to get back in shape and then come across to deal with it. And then the shot was a stray, a poor one, and well wide of the goal. Well, Wolves this season are 4 points better off than what they were last year. But of course, they had such a relentless schedule last year. You could be forgiven for thinking that they weren't quite at it. Of course, they, by this stage, last season had played all their games in the Europa League and had played an extra sort of 4 or 5 games in the Premier League. So you weigh that up, and here's an extra sort of 10 games they would have played, of course, and bearing in mind as well the Europa League qualifiers. So the European element for the small squad this year has probably done them a lot of favours. And free kick's been given as Dendoncker just trampled on Grealish's foot without his real knowledge of it. He competed with Semedo. Miscommunication as the ball both went past them, and Dendoncker did just step on Grealish's foot, who was still on the floor, and will probably await to receive some treatment, the Villa captain. Of course, got the rainbow laces armband this afternoon, as of course it is celebrating the rainbow laces, and of course celebrating the LGBT community, of course, which is been campaigned very, very well in and around the Premier League over the last few years. Villa free kick. Traore takes it, swings it with his left foot. Cody with the header away. Here's Douglas Luiz now. He'll put the ball in on his right foot, looking for Mings, away by Dendoncker. Silva now to Podence. And now Wolves are looking to just try and scamper men forward quickly. Podence gets away from McGinn. He looks diagonally for Silva. He's going to pick him out. Good touch. She tries to get on the inside of Luiz, but Douglas Luiz, the Brazilian, stands up well. Podence as well to nick it off John McGinn, and then McGinn has caught Podence as he was trying to get away from him, and Wolves have got a free kick. But that is what Daniel Podence does. Really doesn't give any defender or player on the ball a chance to get out of trouble. Well, McGinn got the touch, and Podence right on him quickly. McGinn just tried to wrap his foot in front of him and tried to win the ball, but did catch him, and it's a free kick in a very good position. Well, there are a few contenders here for Wolves to strike this free kick. Martinez, of course, trying to get his wall right. João Moutinho is the man who's going to take this free kick, it looks like. Neto's there as well, so it could be a left footer of Neto or a right footer of Moutinho. 4 Villa players in the wall. It is Moutinho, who then back is it to Neto. He drives it, bounces off Ramsey. Villa get that away. They'll be happy with that. Traore tried to get it under control, but it actually bounces off his face. And Wolves now managed to have the ball inside their own half. Well, they defended the free kick well. Really high wall, did Aston Villa. And obviously Moutinho backheeled it to Neto. You thought he might have just gone maybe around the wall, trying to catch Martinez out, but they just stood there. And when you're in the middle of the pitch, you try and drive it in there like that. You hope for a deflection of some sort, and luckily it bounced off the Villa player Ramsey, and then it went straight to Target and was able to clear it away. Well, there's the Wolves subs, all socially distanced there. Well, of course, you look at their bench. Ruben Neves is certainly the standout player. And there's Nuno Espirito Santo. His team, of course, are being held by Villa, who are doing a good job on them so far as an away side. As McGinn, Semedo gets the foot in first as he knocked it back to Saiss, and then Podence hits the ground as Target went into the back of him after he won the head. And Podence has stayed down when he let the ball go over his head, Podence. He tried to catch Target out, but he was well aware of what Podence was trying to do, and then Target was able to head the ball out. He just took a little whack in the back as Target came onto it. 0-0 so far if you're just joining this stream on RS Media. Of course, got 2 more games to cover later on. Manchester Derby, pick of the bunch today. That's getting covered live from 5:30. And then, of course, Chelsea and Everton, where Everton, of course, will welcome back fans to Goodison Park. 2,000 of them will be in to see Chelsea, who will be looking to return to the top of the Premier League tonight. And we've also got a free kick, and there's another yellow card. Matty Cash in the book this time. Well, he does pull Neto back. Good spot by Mike Dean there. Saw that very, very clearly with his own eyes, in the right place to make that decision. I might feel that maybe Cash doesn't need to make that foul. 5th booking already this season for the Aston Villa right back, who began his career as a winger at Nottingham Forest before he made the move for around £15 million back in the close season. Cody looks up for Traore, well watched again by Matt Target. He's done well against Adama Traore, who is a real imposing figure on that right wing for Wolves. Podence spins away from McGinn, fouled by him again. That's the 2nd time in a few minutes that he's fouled him, and Mike Dean says that finally is enough to give him a yellow card. Yeah, it was a real hefty challenge. Spun away from Douglas Luiz. McGinn goes into the back of him. It was an easy free kick for the referee to give. And I think an easy booking as well, to be fair. Well, that's 2 of the 3 central midfielders booked. And Podence has been in the wars in the last few minutes. Target and McGinn have both had a few swipes at him. Dean Smith doesn't feel happy about that yellow card. So a free kick, which is going to be delivered in. Villa going with the zonal marking. Neto with the back heel to Matinho. They're trying to get something off the training ground. Here's Traore. Goes on the outside of Traore, gets it in. And Grealish will clear that away. It was Bertrand Traore there defending against Adama Traore. And it was Adama who managed to get the better of him there with the cross, but it was a rather disappointing cross as Villa were able to deal with the danger. As you know, Traore, Adama that is, does like to go on the outside of his man. Ball's hit Dendoncker in the face. It's Bertrand Traore against Connor Cody. Does well to stop the ball going out for a corner, but his intended clearance is too much for Semedo to keep in play as Villa have got a throw in. Not a lot in it so far. Both sides cancel each other out. It's like a game of chess, this at the moment. Here's McGinn. Made a good contribution going forward as he's tried to help his team create some chances. Target through the legs of Dendoncker. Here's Grealish. He gets the shot away. It bounces off Connor Cody, and Cash is going to let that run for a Villa throw-in. Well, he did well there, Connor Cody, just to stand in front of Grealish as he was letting fly. As we know, he was trying to pick out the far post of Rui Patricio's goal, but the Wolves captain did well to stand him up. So a long throw is going to come in from Matty Cash. Tyrone Mings and Konsa up from the back. Konsa's already scored twice this season. Will he be able to add a third this time round? Can they pick anybody out? Konsa does get the flick on, and it's gone just beyond Rui Patricio's post. he had to really stretch for it. Did Patricio as the ball just went out for a goal kick. Thrown in there. Conte did really well to watch that, and he actually had his back to it as he jumped. Good glancing header, a real telling flick. Patricio scrambled across in the nick of time, and that's not a bad attempt by Esri Conte, as we know. As I said, just before that throw-in did come in as well. He scored twice this season. Goals against Sheffield United in their opening game and Brighton and Hove Albion, both at Villa Park this season. Villa want a free kick as they thought Ramsey was fouled, but Mike Dean says no. Here is Neto. Martial. Matinho. Martial again. And he now goes back to Patricio, who sends the ball forward as he goes to the ground, as he sends the kick forward. Silva. Pedence. Taking a nick off a Villa player, has it? No, Aston Villa's throwing. Ramsey was saying he was fouled in this one here. It doesn't look like he was fouled. It was Matinho that did clip him. He managed to just flick the ball away from him. I think Villa can count themselves a little bit unlucky there, but it didn't lead to anything. So, of course, in that instance, you just let things go like that. Mike Dean just having a word with Jack Grealish. Grealish probably unhappy about the decision not to award a free kick on the halfway line for Jacob Ramsey. Well, the first 34 minutes have gone by relatively quickly in a game that's been a non-event so far. But of course, as we know, that could change all quickly, and it could do now. Traore to Semedo. Not really seen him get forward so far in this encounter. And then Target does well to stand up. Him and Grealish get in the way of each other, but he does well to stand up there. Grealish is fouled by Semedo. Free kick, and Target is now down, holding his face, and there'll be another break in play here. Well, yeah, they just got in each other's way, did Grealish and Target, and then a bit messily, Target just sort of stops Pedence, and then Grealish as well to just take this thing out of the situation, just get a free kick. Well, Target looks like he's okay. No blood of any sort coming. He's just took a bit of a whack in the face from Pedence's knee. Does hurt a little bit more when it's on a colder day. Matt Target in a regular in the Villa side these days. That's why he came to the club. Of course, at Southampton, he was in and out under various managers in Mark Hughes and Ralph Hasenhüttl and so forth. And then, of course, Villa came in with an offer, and it was one that he couldn't refuse. And there's been a player that Dean Smith has really trusted over the last few months as such. So I get back to Martinez. It's been a very good acquisition for Villa. Of course, they used various goalkeepers last year. Of course, Jed Steer was used, Tom Heaton was used, Oriane Neelan was used. But now they have got Emi Martinez. It is a much more settled Villa side to the one that was playing in this division last year. Forward by Mings. Semedo gets up. Watkins has been quiet so far. Hasn't got involved in the game yet. Good defending and good play by Matinho as he gets to Pedro Neto. Conte comes across. Gets on the inside of him. Pedence is there. Pedence comes short. It's took a nick off Matty Cash, and it's a corner kick. Pedence just sort of scuffed it into the ground, which took the sting out of it, but it was still important that Cash got the block in. Yeah, Matinho did well to win the ball off Ramsey, and then he got away from Luiz and sent it to Neto. He cuts on the inside of Conser, and he just sort of tries to get it across him. Pedence on his left foot. He went for goal. It actually bounced off Tyrone Mings. In fact, it was Cash who slid in as well, but it went off the back of Tyrone Mings, and even though it wasn't a shot that wasn't really going to probably trouble Martinez had it not taken a block off a Villa player, it was still an important block by Mings nonetheless. Matinho to take this corner for Wolves. Delivers it in. Not a bad delivery neither. Villa defend that well as it was Ramsey and Mings both getting up. Not the best of clearances. Put Luiz in a spot of bother. Gets him to control well. Silva putting him under pressure. Holding him off here. Saiz comes across to try and close the space down even more. Luiz just tries to send it forward, but Wolves still have it here with Podence. He gets the shot away. Good save by Martinez, but no Wolves player will get up on the follow-up. Well, if anyone is going to make anything happen for Wolves at the moment, it's going to come from Daniel Podence. Well, he's centre of the pitch. That's what he likes to be and what he likes to do. Daniel Podence, he just gets away from the Villa midfield and then sees the space, gets the shot away, gets it away from Tyrone Mings. It's a good outstretched arm by Emi Martinez for a big goalkeeper. He gets down very low, real good hand to it, and luckily for him, there was no Wolves attacker really following up to make the save. And incidentally, that's the first shot on target for either side in this first half. It's only taken us 38 minutes, which tells you just how tight a game this has been. Martinez with the kick long. For Greenish, Semedo away. Wolves don't concede many at home. Whilst Villa don't concede many away. Villa had not conceded at Arsenal, Leicester or Fulham in the 3 games they'd won. And, of course, they did lose to West Ham in that last away game that they played. Of course, it would have been an unbeaten start had Ollie Watkins scored that penalty. And, of course, not had that offside ruled out. So they could have potentially have actually had 3 points. Traore away from target. Gets the ball in beyond Dendoncker. Cash just does enough to get it away. Wolves still within the final 20 yards of the Villa area. Traore. Grealish coming across to defend. Gives it to Moutinho. Spreads the play out to the left with Neto. Martial coming up in support. And he just sends it back to Neto in the air. Gets into close control. Knocks it back to Saiz. Here's Cody. Ball forward. Is a lovely one for Traore. Goes on the inside this time of target. As he got away from 1, he couldn't get away from 2. He's still down. Villa entitled not to kick the ball out of play. And Watkins away from Moutinho. He's shrugging off Connor Cody's clutches. He manages to turn away from him. He now goes to Grealish, who's gone up in support. He's going to look to go on the inside, Grealish. Away from Semedo, pokes it through. John McGinn, he'll get the shot away, well blocked by Cody. And now is Daniel Podence with a lot of room to bring it forward. He's got 3 Wolves players up alongside him. He finds Adama Traore. Now it's with Dendoncker who gets the shot away on target, saved by Martinez. And then a vital clearance away by the Aston Villa defence. Neto on it now, away from Cash. Out muscles him, puts the ball to the penalty spot. Greenish can't get it away. In by Podence, it's drilled and then blocked by Tyrone Mings. And it's a Wolves corner, but they've really stepped up in these last 5 minutes, have the hosts. Traore to Dendoncker. He got the shot away. It came across him. Hit on his right foot. Vital challenge by the Aston Villa defence. Martinez spilled it. Luckily for him, it was Tyrone Mings who came across with a vital challenge. And as Mings was down and Dendoncker was down, Wolves still went on the attack looking for that opening goal. Neto put the ball in. It was a poor touch by Grealish. It bounced from Podence nicely. He hit it first time and it bounced off Mings again. And Wolves have got a corner. And it goes. Saiz tackling it with Ramsey. He's headed it away. Wolves still have it here with Neto. Bit of defending for Villa to do as the first half end is closing in. Silva knocks it back for Saiz. He gets the header on, but it's going to run on through to Martinez. And Villa can just relax now as they wind down the clock even more. Well, Tyrone Mings has really put his body on the line in this game, made some vital blocks. He had no time to even stay on the ground as he looked like he was in some discomfort after making that challenge to stop the Wolves midfielder Dendoncker getting in on the rebound. And as he went diving in, it was a really good challenge. He had to get up quickly. The ball goes through to Adama Traore. Martinez comes a long way to clear it, but Martinez pulled that back for a Wolves free kick. But he was looking like he was going to get on the end of it. It was Ramsey there who pulled Silva to the ground. as he tried to play that ball through to Adama Traore. And Mike Dean has decided not to show a yellow card there. Probably more of a yellow card than maybe John McGinn's challenge early on in the game, perhaps. But he's decided to keep the cards in his pocket on this occasion. Good defending there by McGinn. Traore fouls him, Adama Traore, that is. And now Wolves are going to have a player in the book. Mike Dean, very happy to issue the yellow cards. And there's a bit of a scuffle going on here between Grealish and Dendoncker, I think the man involved. He's got a few players going over to hold Dendoncker and Grealish back for their respective sides. And Adama Traore goes into the book. And John McGinn won the ball back well there. Traore just went into the back of him there. Grealish took an exception to that. Dendoncker went over quickly there. And they're both just having a word with each other. Situation diffused. Nobody did anything out of character. And it's Adama Traore who goes into the book. Bertrand Traore does want to get away from Cody. Semedo gets the challenge in, does enough. And Villa have got a corner. And it looked like he had a route to goal there. Bertrand Traore. It was a quick ball by Mings from the free kick. Lovely touch. Actually took it under control behind him. And then as he got away from Cody, Semedo slid in and forced the corner. He's been quiet. And as of all the Villa attackers so far, Grealish to take. Can he pick out a Villa man? In by Grealish. Semedo with the header away. Headed back in by Target. There's an offside flag. Mings has stabbed it in goalwards. He knew he was offside, but didn't want to let the ball run on through to Patricio. And putting his flag up there is the assistant referee, Darren Cann. But yeah, they were both offside. McGinn was obviously coming back from one. Mings, yeah, he knew he was offside and didn't want to let the ball run on through to Patricio because it would have meant he'd had to scramble back and defend. And as Aston Villa's team know, Wolves are very, very good on the counter-attack and they have shown that on a few occasions. Here's Ramsey. Certainly had a decent first half of Premier League football on his full debut. John McGinn. Target forward. Semedo can't get it under control. Runs on through to Grealish. Away from Semedo. See you later. Driving into the box. Goes down. And it's a corner given. Semedo had to be careful that he didn't give too much of an arm in the back and gave an indication for Mike Dean to give a penalty. Got away from Semedo there. He does just enough. He doesn't even push him in the back. He might just clip his heels slightly. We're about to see it here. No, there's not a lot in that, to be fair. Well played by Nelson Semedo. Dean Smith appealed, as did his captain. But Mike Dean made the right decision. Who, as we know, is a man who does like to give penalties, but hasn't needed to give one there. And that's the third time that Villa have appealed for a penalty. And the third time it's been turned down. 3 minutes added on at the end of this first half. Will we get a goal for either side? Grealish takes it to the edge of the box. Douglas Luiz went to hit it. And went with his weaker, went on his favoured left foot. In by McGinn. Traore missed it. Douglas Luiz on his right foot sends it out to Grealish. Going on the outside of Semedo. Well defended by the former Barcelona man. And Aston Villa have got a free kick as Jack Grealish so often and does it so well has won a free kick with a little shove in the back. Well, no, actually, it's not a free kick. It's a corner instead. Given by Mike Dean. Grealish to take. Succession of corners in the last few minutes for Aston Villa. Grealish goes low this time, looking for Watkins. Semedo with the touch away. Neto now sends it out to the left with Martial. He's probably going to go back. Tries to cut back and wins a free kick as Jacob Ramsey fouls him. And Wolves have a free kick with 90 seconds of the half remaining. He chipped back. Ramsey went for the ball and Martial won the free kick. And he did well there. You knew he was going to go back to the centre-backs of Saiss and Cody, and he did very, very well there. But it is very much a case, this game, it does feel like who's going to stick and who's going to twist in this one. Grealish to McGinn, crosses in low, Cody with the touch and then able to set himself as he sends the ball forward. Mings and Silva competing. Pedence then knocks it forward for Adama Traore. Konsa, the man up against him, and he's fouled Adama Traore. He's almost saying thank you for giving the free kick. And Konsa is penalised, and it's a free kick. Lots of free kicks have been given in this game for both sides. And he does just have a little too much of a shirt in his hands. Does Esri Konsa, and I think that is a free kick to give. I think he is stopping him enough there to warrant that. Coutinho to take one of the last, probably the last action of the first half. Can he whip in that good delivery that's going to cause a problem? In swing, in Silva with the flick. Beyond Saiz, who was running onto it, and goes out for a goal kick, and that will be it now of the first half. Yeah, good delivery in by Coutinho. Silva stays on side. Good header in there. Just dropped a yard back from Matty Cash, who went in and all the way back toward that 6-yard line to defend that. But it's half-time here. Not a lot between the two sides. Martinez has made a few saves to deny Daniel Pedence, 2 in fact. And it is Wolves who've had all the chances, but Villa have withstood a lot of what Wolves have threatened, albeit from long range. In this Midlands derby, it's Wolves 0, Aston Villa 0. Yes, it is half-time in this one, in this Midlands derby. Wolves 0, Aston Villa 0. It was a game that did take its time to get going, as we know. It was Wolves who've had the better of the first half in this game. There was a chance with Daniel Pedence where he forced 2 good saves out of Emi Martinez, both sort of taking nicks off of Villa players, and Villa themselves not really threatened. There was shout for penalty appeals concerning Roman Saiz and Connor Cody. Saiz's was very evident where he did have his arm out, but then he sort of did have it in. So it was very much a case of not really the right decision to give a penalty. Of course, it did cause a bit of debate. Then there was one on Connor Cody where the ball got put back in from a Villa player, bounced off the thigh of Cody. It looked like at first glance, and then it's bounced off Cody's hand, but he did have that down by his side, and it was the right decision to not give a penalty in that instance. Then Grealish, of course, toward the end of the first half did go down, and the referee, Mike Dean, in the right place to say that that wasn't a penalty. And there was no real debate about that, as Grealish went down under the challenge of Semedo, and really one that Semedo knew that Grealish was going to go down, and did very, very well not to commit the foul. First half observations, fair to say. Fabio Silva, a lot was talked about of him. Wolves' record signing, first Premier League start today, featured sporadically for Wolves this season. Of course, 2 goals scored in EFL Trophy versus Doncaster. Of course, he came on against Arsenal 13 days ago and then was taken off, where he only had an hour of the game. Of course, the lack of football sharpness really probably told on the young man that day. But he's grown into the game. He's shown glimpses. Certainly shown that he can link the attack up. Of course, it is imperative that he does that. Gets Pedence and Neto, his fellow countrymen, involved. And he has done that on a few occasions. And certainly had a good, interesting battle. And you see a lot of these, the way the Premier League has gone, it always used to be a case of very rugged, very, defenders very, very tough and no nonsense. But as we know, it has evolved so much, the Premier League. But Silva's very much got the old attitude that associates forwards that come into the Premier League, as well as the modern type that is there. So he has shown good glimpses, Silva, in the absence of Jimenez, but hasn't quite had that opportunity to score, barring that header at goal when he had right at the end of the first half. And with Wolves, don't be surprised if they do take him off. They do often play with a false nine. They did for the majority of that game against Arsenal, and they did last week at Liverpool, where they did have Podence or Neto down the middle. They almost just interchange between the two of them, which is such a headache for any opposing defence. So, of course, that is something that they will very, very much look to try to do at any given opportunity. Aston Villa observations, very, very quiet. Ollie Watkins, of course, their top goal scorer with 6 goals in 10 Premier League games. It's been very, very much a quiet, 9 Premier League games. Very, very quiet half for him. Not really been able to get involved in the game as he would have liked. And he'll be hoping that he can have that changed, as the service will look to try and just go in his favour a little bit more. Of course, Villa just trying to be a bit tentative, feel their way into the game, as they know Molineux is such a tough place to go and get points. They didn't do it last year under Dean Smith's leadership, where Trezeguet scored, not in the team today, of course, the Egyptian. But, of course, they will know that they are a team that do like to come alive at home within the final few minutes of the game. Wolves, where, of course, they hit winners against Fulham quite late on. Southampton got a late equaliser. Newcastle, they scored late, with Jimenez scoring that goal a few weeks ago. So, of course, they'll be very, very wary of that. Of course, as we know, they are missing Ross Barkley. He's had a really good start to life at Aston Villa, injured, of course. And young Jacob Ramsey filling in the midfield, of course. Conor Hourihane has played in that midfield role in recent weeks. Ramsey's featured in the cup games against Bristol City and Wolves, funny enough, in the EFL Cup earlier in the season. But he trained hard. Dean Smith was happy with how he fared in that time, so he threw him in today, and he's done a very good job in there so far. Looked okay, a few short passes, but not quite had the opportunities that he probably would have liked, of course. And actually had a loan under Darren Moore at Doncaster last year, of course. And certainly, first 45 minutes of Premier League football, he'll be relatively satisfied with that, I think. And then, of course, there is as well Bertrand Traore in place of Trezeguet, who is out injured, yet to score. Has been involved quite a bit. They're showing the handball here again. It is one of those where his arm is out, but it is almost in as well. You can see it. There's 2 angles you can look at it. This is another one. It was in by Ramsey. It's obviously got off the wrong part of his body. He is trying to just head that, and it does hit his arm, most definitely. But to say that's a penalty, I'm not too sure. Mike Dean wasn't convinced. It didn't need to go to VAR on this occasion. Very interesting to see what each set of fans make of this. Of course, they'll show the penalty here. Once again, the other one anyway, the other handball, which of course concerned Connor Cody earlier in the game, and obviously followed swiftly after what had happened with Roman Saiz and Jacob Ramsey. So there you can see it there. It does clearly hit his arm. They are saying that is handball, but of course with the rule changes that have happened to the handball law over the last few years, it is very, very sort of incoherent how to give it. And almost the jury is out a lot on handballs. In the case, we have seen some decisions given in the Premier League which have been rather questionable. And then we have seen some ones that haven't been given by the VAR. Of course, there was a lot of decisions early on in the campaign about handballs that really did rile up pundits and managers that were given for or against their teams. Of course, it is going to be one of lengthy debate. And that's probably been the biggest talking point in what's been a first half that really hasn't been there for the most part. Well, they'll certainly share the second one in a minute in front of your screens, most definitely. But Wolves' bright spark in that first half was Daniel Podence. He is somebody who is having his first full season at Wolves, really growing into confidence and really has been a talented player for them, such a clever footballer. Has scored 2 goals already this season as the little Portuguese midfielder bought from Olympiacos, one of a large contingent of Portuguese players that Wolves have on their books, as everybody knows. Wolves have got a lot of players that hail from that country: Patricio, Semedo, Neves, Matinho, Neto, Fabio Silva. That's just to name a few. The list goes on and on. You have to count on your fingers and toes how many players that they do have. But he has been a bright spark. He started the game very very deep, but he's gone very forward as the ball has moved quickly toward Traore, Adama, that is, and Pedro Neto. He has forced a couple of good saves out of Emi Martinez. He's a player that when you're a manager and you do your analysis on, you've got to keep your eyes on him. He's very, very tricky to mark and to deal with throughout the game. Both sides benches, just to go through it. Wolves: John Ruddy, Ryan Ainouri, Willy Bolly, Ruben Neves, Owen Otasawi, Vitinha, and Max Kilman. For Wolves, of course, they don't have a sub-striker on the bench. Of course, they have got another striker covering Renat Dadashov, injured, but of course, he barely even features for the first team these days. Aston Villa's bench: Jed Steer, Frederic Gilbert, Ahmed El Mohammadi, Courtney Horse. May come on against his former side and former stomping ground, a Wolves player of a couple of years. Conor Horahan, Marvelous Nakamba, the Zimbabwean, and Anwar El Ghazi. So they don't have a sub-striker. They do have the luxury of both sides not having one. But of course, if they were to talk the tactics, certainly Watkins, I would not expect would be took off, as they know his goal scoring record has been phenomenal this season. 6 goals in 9 games. You also look at Anwar El Ghazi. He is a player who does like to get used a little bit from the bench, especially in the Premier League. 3 times he's been used this season, but of course he was used a lot last year under Dean Smith in the Premier League. The man who scored the match winner in the playoff, scored one of the 2 goals in the playoff final that saw against Derby, that saw Villa go into the Premier League back in May 2019. One thing as well, Douglas Luiz and John McGinn have both been booked, so they've got to be careful. So don't be surprised to see if Horahan comes on. I wouldn't have thought Jacob Ramsey would play a full 90 minutes in the Premier League. We do often see young players, when they do make their debuts, do come off in place of a more experienced player. Horahan, as we know, really is really thought of here at Aston Villa. Played his 150th game 12 days ago against West Ham United at the London Stadium, so he could potentially come on there. Marvelous Nakamba as well as a CDM, so if Wolves are sort of threatening against Aston Villa as the game is sort of heading on, and Villa are thinking maybe just be happy with a point, and maybe Nakamba could be the man who comes on. But it's 0-0 at Molineux. Wolves versus Aston Villa. Remember, Wolves have won 2 of their 5 home games so far. Don't score a lot, don't concede a lot. They have conceded 3 to Manchester City, but then conceded 2 since to Newcastle and to Southampton. Aston Villa, 4 away games, 3 wins out of 4. They won their first 3 for the first time in Premier League history, where they beat Arsenal 3-0, Leicester 3-0, Leicester 1-0, sorry, and Fulham 3-0. They did lose to West Ham 12 days ago, as I have mentioned previously, but of course it could have been a lot more. Watkins, if he scored that penalty, it would have got them a point. But then, of course, if that offside, which did go against them, it looked like it would have been all 3 points. It would have seen them have 4 away wins on the trot in that game to continue their fine start to the season. Of course, it is such a competitive Premier League this year. Of course, we are seeing the likes of Leicester in the top 4 once again. West Ham are a real surprise package up in 5th after their win last night against Leeds. Villa have had a good start. Wolves are solid as ever. Southampton really up there again this season. So this is a Premier League season that really does just feel like that maybe the tables have turned once again. Games, of course, on today. We've got coverage live on RS Media. Ryan Sonley and Mike Harneman are going to be bringing you the Manchester Derby, a huge game at Old Trafford as Manchester United take on Manchester City. Of course, United looking to bounce back after their defeat to Leipzig on Tuesday, whilst Manchester City had no problems against Olympiacos. Against Marseille. And then the other game later on will be Chelsea at Goodison Park. They're, of course, unbeaten since they lost to Liverpool back in September. Of course, that game will be brought to you from James Whitfield and Jordan Soloff. So the second half here is about to resume. Both sides now onto the pitch. Jack Grealish with a smile there. Very, very good mood. Of course, he was called out a few weeks ago, of course, celebrating in Mayfair, Ross Barkley's birthday and breaking COVID protocols, but wasn't punished by the club, who decided to be lenient with him on that occasion. And as you can see there in the background, the Raul Jimenez banner, which of course was done as a goodwill gesture by the Wolves fans, who had a crowdfunder set up of £20,000 to put a banner in his name, of course, as he gets well from a fractured skull. Watkins with the ball in. Moutinho clears it away. Villa have threatened, or have been predominantly down the left-hand side this afternoon of the Wolves' defence. So Semedo has been the busier of the two fullbacks so far. Villa on the front foot immediately, just 33 seconds into the second half. In by Target, away by Cody. Ramsey flicks it on. Can't pick anybody out. Moutinho just sends the ball back to Villa's defence. And then Dendoncker tried to get under control. And there's an arm, according to Mike Dean. And Villa have got a free kick. No changes made at the break, just to tell you as the teams are on the bottom of your screen. Well, it does hit his chest first and then goes onto his arm. And Dendoncker certainly a bit bemused by that decision. And Aston Villa have got a free kick. Central position. There's 4 players around it. Louise, Target, Traore and Mings. What are they conjuring up here? And what have they got up their sleeve of Aston Villa? Traore takes it short to Grealish. Tries to give it back to Target. And but then steps in and reads the danger. And then he tries to get away from Target, sees the ball hit the Aston Villa left-back's hand, and Wolves carry on with play. 1-2 between him and Silva. Won't see Pedence get on the end of it. And then Mings safely gives it back to Emi Martinez, who then gives it back to Mings. And Martinez now sees it back. Well, he's kept clean sheets against Sheffield United, Fulham, his old side Arsenal and Leicester. Of course, over a third of Villa's goals came in that 7-2 thrashing against Liverpool, which is probably the most surprise result of the season. Nobody saw that coming, in which Ollie Watkins managed to help himself to a hat-trick that day. Grealish got in on the act, so did Ross Barkley, of course, missing today. The Chelsea loanee, a few eyebrows were raised when he was brought in. But, of course, Villa haven't quite needed him so far, because it has been more a defensive job as they've kept the ball and have shut Wolves out. Here is Leander Dendoncker, put under pressure by John McGinn, and Wolves have kicked the ball out of play for an Aston Villa throw-in. They've had a good battle, Dendoncker and John McGinn. There's Fabio Silva, the record signing, how we would dearly love to open his Premier League account this afternoon. But it's Villa who started the brighter of the two in this second half, which is just 3 minutes old here at Molineux. And there is blood on the shirt of Connor Cody, as he's got a nosebleed of some sort. So, of course, there will have to be a stoppage in play and a change of shirt. Not too sure how that happened there, but it's very, very clear to see that there is blood there. Well, the games between these two sides were tight last year. Wolves did the double over them. They won 2-1 here at Molineux with Raul Jimenez on the score sheet there in that game, being one of the two scorers. And then, of course, last year they did win at Aston Villa just a few games after Project Restart, in which Leander Dendoncker scored that goal that day that looked like it was going to plummet Villa to the embers of relegation, send them straight back down. Well, you see the incident here. It's just hit Cody on the nose. Took one from the ball as opposed to an elbow from Watkins, but it looks okay. Put a tissue up his nose to stop the flow of blood, and then a change of shirt. All is good in that respect. So nothing for Nuno Espirito Santo to be concerned about. Well, he has got a replacement on the bench in Willy Bolly. Of course, he has got Saiz in there alongside Cody this afternoon. What was one of two changes for Wolves this afternoon. Well, one thing we can say, it was a real shame that no fans are allowed in at the moment with the Midlands being in Tier 3, because Wolves and Aston Villa would no doubt have produced a fine old atmosphere. Wolves really is an atmospheric ground, one that really does G the players on. What is a real community club, and one that is well supported. One club city, whereas Villa, of course, have the luxury and have the rivalry with Birmingham City to contend about in their city. Given away by Cash. It's Pedence looking for Silva. A little bit too short for Silva. Neto trying to get around Matty Cash, but he stands up well. He's got to be careful. Remember, he is on a yellow card. Of course, one bad challenge will see Matty Cash into the book yet again. And we'll see a red dished out for him, you'd expect. Martinez sending it forward for Bertrand Traoré. Martial getting a foot in there, and it's kept in there by the former Lyon left-back Neto coming back from an offside position. And the ball's just going to go through to Martinez, who comes a long way out of his goal to give the ball to Tyrone Mings. That's a lovely ball for John McGinn. He puts it in first time, goes off Connor Cody's foot and out for a throw-in. He's done that a lot in this game. There's John McGinn, where he's just made that run from the centre of the pitch down the left-hand side. Here's Grealish looking to make something happen. They are reliant on him to be the creator and get them chances. In by McGinn. Good delivery for Watkins over his head. Saiz did enough to watch him all the way. He gives Patricio a high five there as he did his defensive duties well there. But he did very, very well. Grealish just patiently waited. Gave it to McGinn. Good first time ball in. Watkins came and attacked it. Just over his head. Just gets up a little bit too early. Just beyond him. Saiz did very, very well there. If you know you're not going to win the header from a defensive point of view, you just make sure that you stop your man. And that's exactly what he did. Ball's thrown in with Martial. He sends it forward. Flicked on by Silva. And Douglas Luiz gives it to Matt Target. And too much for Traoré, who's now gone down on the deck. Gets back up the Burkina Faso international. And Wolves have another throw in with Martial to take again. Well, Wolves' next 5 games see them up against Chelsea at home on Tuesday. They then go to Burnley away, then Spurs at home, Man United away, and then Brighton away. So 3 of the top 6 they are coming up against. And then, of course, Aston Villa's next 5. We'll see them pipped against Burnley, West Brom away, another Midlands derby to come there, Crystal Palace at home, Chelsea away, and Manchester United away. So both Wolves and Aston Villa will face Burnley, Manchester United and Chelsea in the next 5. Watkins with the shot, well blocked by the Wolves defence as they followed him centrally as Patricio comes out and deals with the ball. Very much the same story as the first half, where no real chances of note, but Villa started the first half with the ball at their feet and were intent on keeping the ball. Very much the same story here as Wolves just can't quite get it off them. Cash down the line for Jacob Ramsey. Does well to hold off the challenge of Saiz. Cash does well to take it forward, gets the ball in. Then Donker with the back heel, which he's made a real mess of. And he does manage to win the second ball against Douglas Luiz. Semedo gets away from Luiz. Now a chance for Wolves to get forward. Here's Adama Traore down the left-hand side this time. Comes in field on his right foot. Now plays it to Podence. Podence now against Matt Target. Podence will shoot. Bounces off Target and then into the hands of Emi Martinez. Yeah, space opening up there for Wolves. They counted for the first time in the second half. It came to Traore. Got on the inside. Played it to Podence. He went on the outside of Target. So maybe it's a different man for Target to think about. Ball by Grealish is intended for Watkins. Connor Cody does very, very well there. He slid in, trying to just hook the ball away, but it's gone off him and out for a Wolves throw. And he's kind of nice to leave figure up there today is Ollie Watkins. Certainly be hoping that things will change and fare better for him in the second half, potentially. But at the moment, Villa quite happy with what they're doing. As they are making slow pathways to the goal. Again, under control. Target. Cut out by Podence. Well, defensively, both sides have been quite on it. Both of their attacking players have come back and helped out the defences. Both wingers are very, very strong for either side in Traore and Grealish for Villa. And then there's Adama, Traore and Neto to think about as well. Whereas, of course, Wolves have got that extra attacker. And looking at Neto or Podence and Silva, Villa have just got that 3 involved. Traore gets there ahead of Neto, knocks it back to Matty Cash, who has adapted to life in the Premier League very, very well after signing from Nottingham Forest. Traore and Cash play a lovely 1-2. Good delivery in over the head of Watkins again. Semedo away to Grealish. McGinn is waiting there. He decides against using him. He might go for goal himself. He gives it to Luiz instead, away from Neto. Luiz shoots. It's gone just past the post. By far, Villa's best chance in this game. Jack Grealish just waited and halted to play the ball back. He played it to Luiz, and Luiz was close. Well, he could have played it to McGinn, but then McGinn went on the outside of him. Neto went in forward. Luiz cleverly gets it away from him, and then he hits it beyond Patricio, and it goes just beyond the post, and it was a really, really good attempt there. And again, Patricio had to dive across and scramble across to his near post. He was very, very unlucky there. Well played by João Moutinho. But his pass has gone off the back of Ramsey's foot, and then Cash's pass is a strain. A square one, and goes out for a throw-in. Here is now Neto heading into the first quarter of the second half, which has belonged to Aston Villa so far. 0-0 in this encounter between these two Midland sides. Only 30 minutes separate them, 20 miles approximately to be exact. A journey down the M6 to get to Molineux it was for Aston Villa, so not a bad journey for them to make. Sent forward by Cash. Saiz now to Martial. Moutinho to Cody. Looking for Semedo. Target does well and getting that under control, and then send it forward only as far as Dendonka. Silva now to Semedo. Here is Adama Traore. Outside of the foot. Picks out Pedence. He then plays it on the floor, intended for Silva, but Silva was shepherded out of it there well by Tyrone Mings and Ezri Konsa. And then Wolves head the ball out of play for a Villa throw. It was Cody there to head the ball out there. But yeah, I think what you've seen in this second half for Wolves is a change. Obviously, we've seen Traore now. He started on that left-hand side, now he's gone to the right. But there's a chance with him now here. There's 4 up there. Traore might go in alone, and it's a shot on target, but it's one that doesn't really trouble Emi Martinez. And it's easy enough for him when he shrugged off the challenge of Matt Target, sent him to ground. He could have played Pedence, who was ahead of him, but then he knew that the ball wasn't going to get played in front of him, and he just came back, went behind him, and then he got the shot away. And then it was, in the end, pretty straightforward for Emi Martinez. Here is Bertrand Traore. Now to John McGinn. Jack Grealish. Looks to go for goal. Well blocked by Semedo, who's done a good job in dealing with the England international and Villa captain. And then Grealish uses his body to win a corner for Aston Villa. So Villa will get their first corner of this second half. Corner so far haven't quite been on it yet. And it's going to be Bertrand Traore is going to take. So a different taker here. In it goes. Doesn't beat the first man. Pedence away. Back out with Traore. Away by Moutinho. John McGinn floats it to the back post. Or it was intended for the back post and for Ramsey. But it went straight to Martial, who then heads it out for a throw-in. I think maybe they could possibly put Traore down the middle. He can play as a forward. It just depends on the mindset of Dean Smith, whether he thinks that he can take the game to Wolves, or he might just think that maybe a point is a good result. Well, in one of the away games they've won this season, they scored late at Leicester. So maybe that might be playing in the mind of Dean Smith. The other games against Fulham and Arsenal, they were pretty comfortable, and they sewn that up in the last 10 minutes, where Leicester was a game where they just gradually thought that they could take something from it, and that's exactly what they went and did. Grealish knocks it forward, away by Dendonka. Watkins holding off Cody. Can't get away from Semedo. Here is Dendonka. Pedence. For Silva. Cash gets in there and then wins a free kick. As Silva went into the back of him. He didn't really want to go and compete. Just wanted to put it in the side in there. And his Cash was coming in to just try and attack the ball. He just got a little arm in the side there. And it was an easy decision for the referee to make. Mike Dean just telling Douglas Luiz to drop the ball back a few yards as Ezri Konsa takes. Target back to Ezri Konsa. Matty Cash. Traore, who was floated and roamed around from the left to the right-hand side. And it's a Wolves throw in here. Well, certainly the obvious sub that does spring to mind is Anwar El Ghazi to come on, perhaps. And of course, Traore does look like a real like-for-like sub. The way Watkins and Grealish have played this season, you wouldn't have imagined that they'd be taken off unless they're injured. Here is Neto. He might go for goal. Now does go for goal. Well, he got a hold of it very, very well, but it's gone beyond Emi Martinez's goal. He came from the left into the middle. No real Villa player was challenging. He was able to go on the inside of Grealish easily. It was Douglas Luiz who was the final man he was able to get away from. Waited and waited, and then did manage to get the shot away. It wasn't a bad attempt by Neto, but it was one that was off target and not enough to trouble Emi Martinez as such. There is now Tyrone Mings on the ball. Wolves now have a throw in. Here is Semedo. Patricio. Looks for Adama Traore, a bit short, cut up by Cash. He then plays it through. Advantage played by Mike Dean, who will now pull that back and give Aston Villa a free kick. Adama Traore, already booked, remember. Appeared to have clipped Matty Cash. Well, certainly not a bookable offence by any means. But Aston Villa have got a free kick nonetheless. Marchal had a swipe at him. Adama Traore was the man who caught him as he was getting back to try and help out his defensive team. No doubt about it that was a free kick. Opportunity knocking perhaps for the Villains. Patricio sorting the wall out, sorting his defence out, as he doesn't want to be done. Well, he was done around about this position against Newcastle when Josh Murphy scored. Right, it was a few yards in front, actually. It was a similar area where they went around the wall and they caught Patricio. He's left a lot of his near post again. Grealish has taken it. He went high at Patricio's near post, but it was over his head and nestles on the top of the netting on the bar. He just tries to catch Patricio out. If he went lower, it might have been a different story for Jack Grealish, but he went high, went for the top corner, and as we know, Patricio is a very tall goalkeeper, very much fits the mould of what you'd expect the goalkeeper to be, tall and very sort of commanding of his area. But he did leave a lot of his near post, but luckily for him, Grealish's effort was just a little bit too high. Patricio restarts it. Not the best of kicks, but doesn't find his way through to Semedo. He looks forward for Silva, gets up above Matt Target. Grealish gets it under control, hits the hand of Moutinho there. Mike Dean decides to let play continue. Douglas Luiz to Ollie Watkins. Here's an opportunity perhaps for Watkins. He gets the shot away and Patricio has to dive to make the save. Good save that by Patricio. That's the first time Watkins has had a shot on goal in this game between these two sides. It was a really, really good stop that's denied him scoring his 7th of the campaign. Yeah, gets the shot away. It takes a deflection off Connor Cody, but it's still one that has to see a real outstretched arm from Patricio. Really throws himself at it. Really, really good save there. But that's what Watkins has done a lot in this second half. Come from the left, drifted in to get the shot away, and that's what he did very, very well there. In by Bertrand Traore. Grealish with the flick on. Tino away. Mings flicking it on. Marchal will send that high into the sky and out for a Aston Villa throw-in, which on the face of it, Aston Villa have been the better side in so far in this second half, as 21 and a half minutes have now been played in this game or nearabouts. Ramsey fouls Moutinho. Free kick to Wolves in their defensive half. 20 yards of their defensive half to be exact. Wonder when he'll be tempted to make a change, as he knows he has got limited numbers on the bench. They've got Ruben Neves. There is Vitinha, the Portuguese under 21 player, featured in all of his appearances for Wolves from the bench. There he is, Raul Jimenez, recovering from that injury of the fractured skull. Adored around these parts. The banner, of course, reads Fuerza Raul. He's really a player that is so well revered around not just Wolves, but of course in his homeland of Mexico. And a player who has been every centre of the journey that has taken them to the journey in the Premier League. 2.5 years he's been there. There's been highs. 7th place twice, Europa League quarterfinals and FA Cup semi-finals. Then Donker to Traore. He then gives it to Pedent, who's going to chase onto it. Does get it in for Silva. Conser away. Second ball is with McGinn. He gets under control and then he gives it to Target. He then just, at the first time of asking, sends it clear. Cody under control. Him and Semedo get in the way of each other, but doesn't cause a problem as such. And then Semedo is able to knock it back to Rui Patricio. Away by Tyrone Mings. Semedo. Wolves maybe having a change in this game. Played it through to Silva. Gets the shot away off the post. How close was he to scoring his first Premier League goal? Only the post has denied him of that accolade. Here's Adama Traore. Great feat from him. He gives it now to Marchal, and then Neto is fouled by Wolves, by the Aston Villa man, but it was brilliant play by Pedence. Great feet, threaded it through to Silva, hit it first time off the post, and he's a whisker away from opening his Premier League account. My goodness me, how close was he to finding the back of the net? And then it was Traore who stopped Neto there. Ball goes in, it's deflected off Grealish. Here's Marchal. Pedence. Dendoncker. Cody with the ball in. Coutinho then sends it to Neto in a rather unorthodox manner. Coutinho again. Now Neto. Taking on Grealish. Gives the 1-2 with Marchal. He puts it into the back post. Runs on through to Pedence, who's now right by the corner on this right-hand side. Jinking his way past McGinn, and then it went on through to Saiz, whose header at goal is straight down at the hands of Emi Martinez. Well, Mings has actually got a touch to that, and then it's gone on through to Roman Saiz, as we know, he's already found the back of the net twice this season, where he scored against Sheffield United and Leeds. Of course, he was close to getting his third there. Grealish has kept that ball in play. Half-hearted appeals from Wolves to say that ball had come out. Here's Watkins away from Cody, but in his way was two Wolves players who were able to do the job. That's here, Adama Traore's hand. And it's an Aston Villa free kick. Well, just to correct something I said earlier, well, I'll say it in a minute. It's a good ball in. Bertrand Traore has gone down. No penalty given by Mike Dean. VAR won't intervene because there's an offside flag. Well, they took it quickly. They caught Wolves off guard there. Lovely ball in by John McGinn. Yeah, Traore is offside, so the right decision in the end. And Marchal was a rather clumsy foul, as he definitely went into the back of him. There was an arm on the top of Bertrand Traore's neck, and the referee, Mike Dean, who was certainly well aware of the appeals from the Villa bench and players, was given instructions by his linesman Mark Scholes to give the offside. Well, just to correct something I said earlier, actually, of course, on RS Media later, I did say that Everton Chelsea would be broadcast live. It is Mike Hardiman and Russ who will be doing that game. So, of course, apologies for that one. Here is Adama Traore. So far, hasn't had any joy out of his old club. Away by Douglas Luiz. Hit by Semedo. And a bit of catching practice there for Emi Martinez down low as he makes the save look easy. Yeah, good save. Drop for Semedo nicely. The first touch is always important here. Good first touch. Well-driven shot. Got away from the crowded bodies, and it didn't take a nick off a Villa defender, which, of course, as a goalkeeper, you're very, very happy with, because if it does take a deflection, it just sort of can just go off course and change direction, but it just went straight on through to Martinez, who was able to deal with it. Cody sends the ball forward. Real tight contest so far, and it has been since the word go. Not a lot in the two sides, and that is telling. Coming into it, there was 2 places and 2 points separating them, so the difference between the two really has not been there. Wolves in 10th before the day, Villa in 12th before the day. Villa have not actually drawn a game this season, so it would be their first draw on the board for the 2021 season, whereas Wolves have managed 2 draws already this campaign, coming against Southampton, one of them at home, and Newcastle also at home as well. Here's Neto playing now down this left-hand side. Here is now Podence, crowded up by McGinn. Coutinho sends the ball intended for Semedo, but then Grealish just lets it run out of play for a throw. And so there will be a sub, and it is going to be Anwar El Ghazi who's going to come on for a 4th Premier League appearance of the season. All have come from the bench. Watkins was held on to by Connor Cody there. Yes, he was. Free kick is given there, and the sub be able to take place before the free kick. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, certainly a foul. Does put an arm into the back to make him go down, so it's an obvious substitution. Bertrand Traoré is off, and on goes Anwar El Ghazi for Aston Villa. And hasn't yet scored in the Premier League this season either, so what a time that would be to make yourself a hero. Free kick for Aston Villa. Matt Targett will deliver it. Can he target anybody in the box? Good delivery, well watched by Semedo, heads the ball away. Podence's clearance is kicked back towards his own half. In by McGinn. Beyond El Ghazi as the ball runs out of play for a Wolves goal kick. 15 minutes to go. Still no real sign of a winner here at Molineux. Well, of course, we saw at the start of the second half, the game belonged to Aston Villa. It's now sort of gone the way of Wolves. The last 15, 20 minutes, Fabio Silva hitting the post has been the best chance that really either side has had. And there's been a couple of opportunities for Wolves where Martinez has made a few good saves. Villa went close as well with Douglas Luiz in a game largely where both defences have done well, and it's really stole the show and stole the headlines, to be honest, in this encounter between these two sides. Well, both managers who have come across each other numerous times. Nuno Espirito Santo's faced him twice. Faced him with 2 different clubs in Brentford and Aston Villa. Faced him in the Premier League with Villa and faced Dean Smith in the Championship with Brentford. So certainly knows a lot about him. Good ball to Grealish. That certainly did look like it hit an arm. Mike Dean doesn't give it, but he does give a free kick as he was holding on to Semedo just a little bit too much there as he was trying to nestle the ball off the Wolves right back. You see there with Den Donk. He's putting on John McGinn's shirt, and for me that is a yellow card. He gave a booking for Matty Cash on Neto in the first half. Well, he has actually booked him now. I do apologise, but an obvious decision to make. It did look like actually got away with it there, but of course he didn't actually see the yellow card get issued. But of course it does get issued now. So Wolves have their second player in the book, which is Leander Dendoncker, and yet they are still not made a sub. So far, we've talked about Wolves not having to make a sub. We've also said about Graham Scott, the VAR referee. He's not had to make a not make a major decision as of yet. There has been cause for him to be used with the handballs, but so far has not been introduced. Wolves concede a free kick with Matty Cash going down here. And speaking of subs, Wolves are now going to make one with Ruben Neves coming on. And this might possibly be for Leander Dendoncker. But of course, they will have to wait. It will be the free kick taken first for Aston Villa, which Douglas Luiz is going to take. Going to put a lot on this. Really poor delivery. Nano was able to take this under control. And a chance now for Wolves to counter-attack. He gives it to Bedens. Slows down a little bit. Silva bounced off him, and then he lets it run through to Dendoncker. Neto, he puts the ball in for Traore. It was a teasing ball in low on the ground, but Target watches it well. And then Watkins, who gets on the end of that clearance, just kept the ball in and stopped it going out for a throw-in. On the outside of Cody, he puts it in low, bounces off Saiz, goes off Cody, runs on through to Watkins again. Grealish up in support. He then clips it in towards El Ghazi. He flicks it on, away by Dendoncker. Luis coming up in support, but then Podence as well to hold off. Luis advances and then just managed to get it away from Anwar El Ghazi, and Wolves are able to safely bring the ball out. Yeah, he does very, very well. He has been Wolves' best player for me. Daniel Podence has come back and covered the ground when they've needed to. He's found that little pocket of space. He's tried to help the attacks. He's not quite been able to just get the ball in the real telling areas that he often likes to so far, but it could easily change in the final 10 minutes. Approaching us now. Neto on the outside of Cash. Jinks away from Hart. Lovely play there. Gives it to Dendoncker. Brilliant save by Martinez. He was denied by him in the first half, and he's denied by him yet again in the second half. It was brilliant play by Pedro Neto. He completely caught Matt Cash bamboozled, and then he audaciously put the cross in with that clever flick. Then Donker caught it sweetly on the volley, and then Martinez has to make a save, and what a brilliant save it was. And Leander Dendonker's afternoon is over, and Ruben Neves is on in his place with 10 minutes to go. But Wolves in this second half have been denied by the post, with Silva going close, and then Martinez has made a save at point-blank range to deny the Belgian Leander Dendoncker. So that's what having a trusted goalkeeper you can rely on does for you. And Connor Cody able to flick the ball away from Ollie Watkins. 10 minutes to go. We might see a change in momentum, as it looks like Wolves potentially the team who's going to get the all-important goal. It does feel like maybe just one goal's going to win this game. And they are in the driving seat, in the ascendancy. Traore shrugs off Target and John McGinn, and then Target has fouled. It's Tyrone Mings and Target both in the book. It was Target who made the foul. Douglas Luiz came across as well. So Target has been booked for the foul on Traore. Genuine attempt to win the ball there. Not really sure if that's a booking, to be fair. Mings is booked for his protestations. So Villa now have got 5 players in the book, and 3 are in amongst the back 4. So I do think Mings has not been booked there. Actually, it did look like it might have been for his protestations, but I think he's got away with that there. So just one booking there is it's just for Matt Target, and that stands as that. Wolves free kick here, though, in a very dangerous position. Neto and Moutinho over again, as they have been for all the free kicks in quite advanced positions. What can they do from this? Go short to Adama Traore. Villa got everyone back. Up for Podence. Silva with the overhead kick. But no trouble for Emi Martinez, who safely and gratefully clutches it to his chest. Yeah, when they come off, they are really, really good. Again, it's one that you've just tried to loop over the goalkeeper, but Martinez was well placed to just make the save there. Coutinho in the book. Grealish fouled once again. He's always in the wars, is Jack Grealish. He's often used to it by now. He was right by the byline. Yeah, easy decision for the referee to make, and Coutinho in the book. So 7.5 minutes to go. 0-0 is the score in a game that hasn't been the greatest of 0-0s, but not been the worst. And of course, it could still yet yield a winner in this one. And of course, time is running out for either side to do that. And Matt Target's just removing some mud off his boots as he's going to take this free kick. Floats it in, away by Saiz. Now it's with Ramsey. He's been quiet in this second half. It's away from Moutinho. He thought he did. There's a little touch by João Moutinho, and it's a Aston Villa throw-in, which Ramsey leaves for Matty Cash to take, and potentially an opportunity for a long throw, maybe. And it's actually Ezri Konsa who went into the book. So Tyrone Mings avoided one, and then I thought it wasn't actually Mings, and then Konsa's got it. So the confusion is over. And it's Ezri Konsa who's gone into the book. Cash will now take this throw. Douglas Luiz. Him and Pedence competing for it. But Luiz just used an arm there. And it's going to be a second yellow card. And Aston Villa will play the final 6+ minutes with 10 men. Douglas Luiz has seen a second yellow card and a red. Dean Smith, as you'd expect, visibly unhappy with that. And Aston Villa will have to play this game a man like. Well, that is an easy decision for the referee, Mike Dean, to make. His arm goes up, catches Daniel Pedence, and that is, I think, worthy of a red card. So this really does give Wolves a chance of finding a winner. And it really does now hamper Villa's chances of coming away from Molineux with a point. Have they got a spring in their step? Traore goes down. No penalty given. It was good defending there by Aston Villa as they deal with the danger. Here is Connor Cody. Wolves in the second half. The last 15-20 minutes have come close as well. And that was with Villa having a full complement of players. But now it is going to be a real struggle for Villa to hold on, and they will be happy to take a point back to Villa Park with them today. No doubt if they can hold on. Here's Adama Traore. Semedo coming up in support through the middle. He then plays it to his right. Then we'll give it back now to Adama Traore. Here is Daniel Pedence. He flicks it forward to Semedo. Beautiful ball. Under control well. Tries to drill it in. Bounces off Tyrone Mings. And it's a Wolves throw. Adama Traore springing his step. Pills for a penalty here. No, enough really in it there. Jack Grealish does have his arm across his body, but certainly doesn't really pull him back there. And you can tell with Jack Grealish that he's not really happy about that anyway, shape or form. Moutinho to Semedo. Here is Pedence coming in from the right now. He then has to go back to Moutinho. Cody. Moutinho again. Now it's with Pedro Neto. Pedence. Urging for players to come forward. Moutinho. Adama Traore. They'll work their way into the Villa penalty area. In for Fabio Silva. Ezri Konsa does well to use his frame to stop Silva getting out under control. The ball is won by Saiz as he contested it with Ollie Watkins. Villa at the moment just can't get the ball down. It's all Wolves in possession now, and it probably will be in these final few minutes. Pedence hits the deck again, and it's a free kick. And Mike Dean is going to issue another yellow card, and Jack Grealish has his name taken, and with it, he is Aston Villa's 5th booking of this game, and a pretty easy decision for Mike Dean to make. Heavy challenge, wasn't it, by Jack Grealish, and Dean Smith will just want his players to not just give free kicks away now in advanced positions. They'll be forward thinking for Pedence, a little bit too much on it, and then Martinez off his line quickly and gets down to get hold of the ball while he has had to make a few saves to preserve a clean sheet as it stands. It will be his 5th one of the campaign. He's been man of the match. And you can't really argue that. He's made some vital saves. He's denied Dendoncker twice. He's denied Daniel Podence twice as well. And a man who was strong for Arsenal on the back end of last season, in which he played the FA Cup final and got rave reviews about his performance in their win over Chelsea. Made the move to Aston Villa for more regular first-team football and hasn't looked back on it, as he really has been a real presence and a real commanding figure back there for Villa. As at the moment he's kept a clean sheet and has alongside it kept clean sheets against Sheffield United, Arsenal, Fulham and Leicester. And now as it stands, he's adding Wolves to his list of teams that he's kept a clean sheet against. And Villa got a free kick which they needed as Watkins was fouled. Just got to take the sting out of the game now, Villa. It's an operation where they just got to manage the game. Just let Wolves try and break them down. And, you know, this is an opportunity. If they were to nick it, it would be such a fantastic result. They've defended astutely enough in the game. They've had a few lucky breaks with Martinez saving and then Silva into the post. But I think Villa will be happy with the way they've played so far. In by target, Saiss away. Well headed away as well. Ghazi to Ramsey. Good delivery. Greenish attacking it. Semedo heads that behind for a corner kick. Had to watch that, did Nelson Semedo. Greenish was getting up above him at the back post. And it really was a real testing. Bit of defending for Nelson Semedo to do there. And it's a corner for Aston Villa, which I'd imagine Grealish is going to go over to take. 5 minutes added on. It won't be Grealish who's going to take it. It's going to be Anwar El Ghazi. The substitute who's going to take it. Delivers it in. Good ball in. Conte was attacking it. So it's Adama Traore. Drawn back in by Ramsey. Semedo stabs the ball away. Saiss header away there. Mings and Podence competing. And then he manages to get away from Podence. And then he's fouled him. And Aston Villa have got a free kick as Mike Dean feels that Podence has fouled him there. And then there's a bit of afters going on there as a result of that. Mike Dean, well placed to make that decision. He's just standing there waiting for it to all sort of die down. Hard to say who's involved. Adama Traore looks like he's been held away. Ezri Konsa looks like he's involved. Well, here's the incident again. Mings just gets away from Podence. Don't really see a lot in that. Podence, as you can tell, visibly frustrated and annoyed that the decision's been made. And then there was a few little arguments that sort of happened there between both sets of players, but of course nothing untoward happening there at all. Matty Cash is going to take this free kick. 3.5 minutes of the stoppage time to play. 0-0 as it stands. Villa on course for their first draw of the season. Taken under control well by Watkins. And then he puts Moutinho under pressure, and it's Villa now who've got Wolves on the ropes at the moment. Here's Grealish. John McGinn. Away from Semedo. Does well, goes down, and it's a penalty to Aston Villa. McGinn went down under the challenge of Nelson Semedo, and the side with 10 men potentially are on course of nicking a victory here at Molineux. Well, it was brilliant play by McGinn and Grealish. He nutmegs. Semedo does McGinn. Semedo goes into the back of John McGinn. He's been excellent, Semedo, defensively in this game, but he just crumbles at the last minute. It's enough, I think, to make McGinn go down. There is a little arm in the back. He's distraught, Nuno Espirito Santo, but what an opportunity for Anwar El Ghazi. Well, he's been brought on to try and change the game for Villa, and he could do exactly that by potentially sticking the ball in the back of the net. He hasn't scored a Premier League goal this season, the Dutchman, and what a time it would be to open his account, but Standing in his way is Rui Patricio, the Wolves goalkeeper, and a man who is known to have saved a penalty in the past too. Big moments as Dean Smith looks on with his hands in his pocket. Can El Ghazi get the better of Patricio? El Ghazi scores! Aston Villa lead with 2 minutes to play of stoppage time, and Anwar El Ghazi may have just won it for the 10 men. They score late a few months ago against Leicester away from home that saw them win, and they might be doing the same again at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves 0, Aston Villa 1, and it's Anwar El Ghazi with the penalty, and it's the 10 men who lead the 11 men. Wow, the last few minutes, the nerves will be jittering, the pressure's really on you. Can you stay calm? Can you stay composed? And Anwar El Ghazi has done exactly that. Patricio dived early. El Ghazi just didn't get phased or overawed, and he sticks the ball in the back of the net with a real authority. And Aston Villa look like they're going to smash this and get a smash and grab here at Molineux. Well, when you just thought that it looked like it was going to play into Wolves' hands with Douglas Luiz getting sent off, it's Aston Villa who look like they're going to come away here with all 3 points, and all they've got to do now is just hold on. And Moutinho's been booked, and he looks like he might be going now. Off he goes, and now Wolves are going to go down to 10 men. Moutinho sent off. He caught Jacob Ramsey, and Wolves, in the space of just a few minutes, have conceded a goal and have lost a man in João Moutinho. Easy yellow, easy second yellow for me to make for Mike Dean. Nuno Espirito Santo hiding his emotions. Well, he does catch him now. I mean, it did look worse when I first saw it, but I'm not too sure if that's actually a second yellow card. I've got to be honest, I think Moutinho maybe has a right to feel hard done by, because Ramsey does go down a few seconds too late. And really now that's probably ended Wolves' chances of getting a goal. Well, this game was waiting to just sort of come to life, and it really has in the last sort of 25 minutes, including stoppage time. And it's a Wolves throw-in as Jack Grealish has been knocked off the ball in that instance there, and Villa are nearly there. Sent forward for a Wolves goal kick just to get some pressure time off it. Wolves are going to make a change. Marvelous Nakamba's going to come on for Jacob Ramsey. He could be happy with how he's fared this afternoon on his Premier League debut. The lad born in Great Barn, not too far away from Villa Park. Been at the club since he was 6 years old. Certainly impressed with his performance today. And he's replaced by Marvelous Nakamba, the Zimbabwean, who comes on for the final few minutes of this game as Aston Villa just look to see the job through. And there it is. Nakamba on the pitch, doesn't even touch it. But it's Aston Villa who've got the win. They make it 4 away wins from 5 with the victory. A huge win for Dean Smith's men. And it's courtesy of Anwar El Ghazi from the penalty spot, given after Nelson Semedo tripped John McGinn in the penalty area in the 93rd minute. El Ghazi stepped up, call as you like, and put it into the back of the net. And then after that, João Moutinho was sent off for a second yellow card as he tripped Jacob Ramsey. Douglas Luiz was sent off for a second yellow before the penalty, and before Moutinho was sent off as he elbowed João Moutinho in the face. But it's full time here. Wolves 0, Aston Villa 1. And it's Aston Villa who go back to Villa Park with all 3 points and inflict a second home defeat of the season on Nuno Espirito Santo's Wolves. Well, the game had everything, didn't it, in the end? 2 red cards, a penalty, and some real good moments. I did say it was going to be 1 goal that was going to win it for someone, and it's the winner for Aston Villa, and in particular Anwar El Ghazi, who has scored his first goal of the campaign. And it was a foul by Nelson Semedo. Grealish and McGinn did brilliantly well to work the attack that saw McGinn nutmeg Semedo, and then Semedo was trying his best to knock it off him, pushed him in the back. Slightly enough contact to probably give that a penalty, so the right decision to make. The table just coming in. Villa move up to 8th. Wolves drop a place to 11th. They could drop even lower based on this weekend's results that could potentially go against them. But then, of course, Anwar El Ghazi, going back to the action, he stepped up, rifled the ball home, sent Rui Patricio the wrong way, and put the ball in the net as Aston Villa scored the all-important goal that meant they won by 1-0. The other talking points in the game, Douglas Luiz was sent off for a second yellow card. His first offence was something that was a debatable yellow, but then his second one right by the byline on the right-hand side of the pitch. He competed with Daniel Pedence for a header, caught him in the face with an elbow, and it was an easy decision for Mike Dean to make as he sent him off. And then Wolves, of course, after El Ghazi had just scored the penalty straight from the kickoff practically, Jacob Ramsey had the ball at his feet. Matinho went in with a lunge, caught Ramsey, who then just a few seconds later went down and said he got fouled. So both sides finished with 10 men, but it was Villa who took all 3 points, courtesy of Anwar El Ghazi. Earlier in the season, they scored late at Leicester. That meant that they got an away win at the King Power Stadium. They've done it again against Wolves here this time round, as Aston Villa have made it 4 wins from 5 away from home, and they move up to 8th in the league, whilst Wolves have lost for the 2nd time at home this season. And with it, it is a defeat at Molineux to coincide with a disappointing loss that they suffered last week to Liverpool. It was a game really for large parts that had 0-0 written all over it, but it flickered into life in the last few 25 minutes. Fabio Silva came close when he hit the post. Martinez, who was named man of the match for Villa, made some good saves against Dendoncker and Daniel Pedence. There was also chances for Villa. Douglas Luiz had a good opportunity when he hit one wide on the edge of the box. But that rounds it up here. Thank you for watching on RS Media. Full time at Molineux. Wolves 0, Aston Villa 1. Anwar El Ghazi, the match hero, as Aston Villa take all 3 points back to Villa Park.